Yeah, that's accurate. Um, it's about 9 p.m. on Monday, September 30th. And September 30th, I learned this weekend for the first time, uh, is the day for truth and reconciliation, primarily in Canada, but also in the United States. Much less recognition here, relative to Indian residential schools that were operated by the United States government, the Canadian government, the Catholic Church, where for 150 years they kidnapped, stole, took, forced school age Native American kids, took them from their families, from their communities, from their tribes, from their support system, from their culture, to assimilate them to being little white kids. And I just recorded an hour-long episode of my podcast, Hawk Droppings, that'll be posted tomorrow, where I talked about that. I talked about Indian residential schools, Native American residential schools. And that is an accurate statement. And it's something I've been researching all weekend. And having just recorded that episode, I feel like I've been hit by a fucking bus, man. And I also, yesterday, I recorded an episode of our podcast, Hawk After Dark, where I talked about MMIW, murdered and missing Indigenous women and girls throughout North America, Canada, and the United States. And in the episode that I recorded tonight, um, there's so much that I never knew about American history that I've learned since joining TikTok in the middle of 2021 by following creators who don't look like me, Black Americans and Native Americans in the United States and Canada. And there was one creator who I followed early on, a Black woman here in the States. Her name's Portia. And one thing that I learned from her is that it is incumbent upon people like me, with all of the privileges that I have, that I didn't earn. I have them because of how I was born. A straight, cisgendered, white man in the United States, to learn about these things and to use the platform that I have to talk about these things. And that stuck with me. It's always stuck with me since the first day that I heard it. And I have every privilege that you can imagine in this country, except for generational wealth. All of the other ones, I have those privileges. And I was texting back and forth with my brother tonight after I finished recording that episode. That's like, and I acknowledge that in the episode that I recorded tonight. You know, it's like I can choose to duck in and duck out of this history and these things as it relates to Black Americans and Native populations in North Carolina. I can duck in and learn about it and talk about it, and then I can duck out if I want to, and I can slide right back into my privileged existence. And I do that. Uh, but, you know, one thing that my brother and I feel very strongly about is using our podcasts and using our platforms to highlight these things that we never learned about in school. I didn't learn about most of this stuff until I was in my 50s. And again, it's because I started following people on TikTok who don't look like me. But yeah, the injustice thing, I mean, my ADHD is strong, as is my PTSD. And I mean, I recorded that episode and I was activated like all get out, man. I had to go for a walk and regulate and calm down a bit. Um, it's critically important that people like me use the resources and the platforms that we have to highlight this history and these stories, and the things that people who look like me did to people who don't look like me for hundreds of years in this country and elsewhere. Um, but goddamn, I hate bullies, and I dislike injustice very, very much, very strongly. And so there's a link in my link tree. Please go check out our podcasts. And the one that I recorded tonight about Indian residential schools will be live sometime tomorrow. And please also follow the link in my link tree to follow our YouTube page. My brother and I are going to be going live on our YouTube page tomorrow night for the VP debate between Tim Walz and Hillbilly Vanilli, JD Vance. So I hope everybody has a good night. Thank you.